What's up, guys? Today I'm going to be going over the top 5 guns you can get for under $500. Now, these are guns I would recommend somebody get for a first-time gun buyer or somebody who just is looking to spend $500. These aren't going to be all modern weapons. These are going to be some milsurp weapons as well as modern weapons, and they're just going to be really the best bang for your buck for what I personally think is cool and personally think is the best. And the first one up on this list is going to be the M9130 mosin nagant. This specific guy is from 1943, so it was used in World War II by the Soviets. Now, this specific model came into effect in 1930 through 1945. It's basically just an upgraded version of the M91. And this dude cost me $400. I did get it from a friend, so usually it's going to be about $500 or so. But these do range between $400 and $600. These rifles are very versatile weapons. I've shot this guy out to about 500 yards, and the effective range for these guys is about 500 to 600 without a scope on it. There are variants of this gun that does include a scope on it. It comes with a scope mount right here on the side. Now, I'm not going to mount that on this one because it does have the wood here, and in order to mount that, you would need to cut the wood out. There are a couple downsides to these guys. One, it's a milsurp rifle from the 1940s, so it is a little bit outdated. But they did produce 17.4 million of these. So there are plenty of them out there, and they are very fast, reliable, accurate rifles. This does have an adjustable sight on it, but with the sight being more in the forefront instead of the back, it definitely looks like an older rifle. Because a lot of the guns you're going to see today have this sight in the back here, but that's where the bolt is. And it does have a 29-inch barrel, so it is a pretty big profile weapon. I mean, I can't really show all of it on camera at the same time. One person you might have heard of who have used or did use a certain rifle very similar to this guy is Simo Haya, and I can't say it because I'm way too white to say his name correctly. I guess he was white too, but I'm too American is what I mean. But he's also known as the White Death, and he was the deadliest sniper in history, and he used one of these guys. And before you go asking yourself, did he use a scope? No, he did not. He used these iron sights right here that are on this rifle. So as we know from history, these guys can be used either as a field rifle or a sniper rifle. And again, like I said, you can get these guys between $400 and $600, which puts our price range right at the $500 that we're shooting for. Second up on the list, my dad owns this gun. It's the TP9SF. I don't currently have it on hand because my dad owns it, but I have shot it many times, and I can tell you for under $500, it is going to be one of the best bangs for your bucks you can get. And it's reliable, fast, accurate. I shot it at 200 yards, and it was hitting right where I was aiming. So that's very impressive for a pistol, especially with a 9mm. The TP9SF is striker fired, and it's a full-size pistol. Like I said, it is chambered in 9mm, so it is very, very common round, and that's what you're really going to shoot for, especially if you're going for a tactical reasoning like a survival method, or if crap hits the fan, then you're going to really want a 9mm, a 7.62, or 223. And this Canik will fill in that 9mm spot for you. These guys do go for about $400 to $500. You can find them for a little bit cheaper and a little bit more expensive, kind of depending on where you are. But I did see one at a gun show for $490 a couple weeks ago, and my dad got his for about $480. These are a little bit heavier at 28.22 ounces, but that also helps with the recoil. The only issue I would say with this gun is that it's not a great concealed weapon, but I have carried that 1911 before concealed, and so I guess you could say you could conceal this gun. It does have an overall length of 7.28 inches, so it's a little bit long, it's a little bit big. But I got bigger hands, so it does fit my hand great, and that I really appreciate, because Glock and all these different gun companies that everybody praises just don't fit my hand right, and Canik seems to fill that spot very well. Now, this next gun I do not personally own, but I have shot it multiple times, and it's family friends of mine that I've shot. It's the Walther PPQ M2. Now, there is a 22 variant of this guy, but I'm focusing on the 9mm today, and you can find that guy between $450 and $600. So on the cheaper end, you can find it for under $500. It's a little bit harder to find like that, but if you're looking for something between $500 and $600, then that's gonna have you right there. And if you're looking for something a little bit less expensive, you're gonna go with the previously talked about Canik. But the Walther PPQ M2 is also a striker fire pistol, and it does weigh in at 24 ounces, so it's a little bit lighter than that Canik. I did see one of these guys at a gun show, same gun show I mentioned before, just a few weeks back, and it was for about $490, $495. So it's really not too expensive, especially for what you're getting. Walther has made amazing guns. The first gun I got was a pistol. It's a Walther P22. It's right there hanging up. And from when I've shot the PPQ M2, the 9mm variant, I didn't get any jams at all on that gun. The Canik, I've had a couple jams, but that's a little bit less pricey than the Walther. I feel like Walther is a very reliable, robust brand. So this guy also does have a 5-inch barrel. So the overall length is about the same as the Canic previously listed, but that 5-inch barrel is really going to get you far as accuracy. And this guy, I haven't shot it out to 200 yards, but the accuracy based on my prior knowledge with every other firearm, I would say this guy could reach out to about 180, 200. Now, the effectiveness would wear off at that range, but it's pretty impressive that it's still accurate out to that far. Number 4 we have on this list is the Remington 870, and I do happen to have one here for you guys today. Don't make fun of my sling. This is an old built that I use because it doesn't have sling mounts. But these guns have been reliable for decade upon decade, and law enforcement has used them as well as military for certain uses. And there are different variants of this gun. You can change out the barrel, you can change out the stock, you can change out the fact that you can put a sight on the top. You can do a lot of different things with this guy. And so police and law enforcement have used slug barrels, shorter barrels, different things. But this overall model is like a Lego set of the shotgun world. Remington did get bought out by Rim Arms, so this guy is now called the 870 Wingmaster, but it's still the same exact design. My grandpa does have one of these from the 1970s, and I shot it, and works like a charm. Now, I bought this back in 2015, 2016 for about $400, but they did go up a little bit in price now. You can find these anywhere between $400 and $600, which puts our median range right there at our $500. Now, the 5th gun on our list is going to be an AR-15. I did get this guy from Palmetto State Armory, so I built it out piece by piece. This dude is about $1,300, so it's really not something you're going to be looking for with a $500 price range. Now, Palmetto State Armory does have great options for a build out. You can buy different size barrels as well as different lowers, just kind of fit your specific needs. I would recommend a 16-inch barrel. This is an 18. I love my 18-inch barrel, but I wish I would have chosen the 16-inch in hindsight just because it's a little bit easier to move around than this 18-inch. Now, I do have a bipod on this guy because I had a scope on here, and I plan to change this side out for a 6-hour sight. So I'm going to keep that bipod on there and put a scope on here that can magnify out to a couple 100 yards. But you can find these guys and the pieces for these guys for under $500 as long as you build it. And I guess you could even find deals on Palmetto State Armory where you can find them for about $390, $400, and they're pretty good build outs. Now, I'm not sponsored by PSA, but I really love their products, and so I'll tell you firsthand, I've built 2 AR-15s out by them, or with the parts from them, and they've turned out great. This guy put probably 5,000-6,000 rounds through, and this upper was not too expensive from them. So this upper is something that you can look more into getting from them, and that'll keep you under that 500 price range. And this guy has lasted so long and so well. Now, one reason I would get an AR-15 is because it is semi-automatic. They are modern weapons, and constitutionally, we're supposed to have the same weapons as our military. Now, these guys are not fully automatic, sadly, but if you're fast enough with your trigger finger, they can shoot off shots pretty quick. Now, with these, you do have to be a little bit safer than other guns, but these are pretty robust and compact guns. Or I guess they can be compact in a smaller form. But these guys are modern weapons. They do go for about $500 to $600 on average. Now, you can find built-out ones for about that much or up to about $5,000. They really do vary in price with these, but just like the 870 for shotguns, this is the Lego set of the rifle world. These guys are very, very versatile, and you can put different attachments on it, just like this bipod. As well as the ammo that it shoots is going to be in great abundance. Always, just because, again, 5.56, 7.62, and 9mm are the most common rounds, and these guys shoot 5.56. Now, all of these pistols behind me, as well as the one in my hand, this is a Rock Island Armory 1911A1, and this guy went for about $490. Now, with tax, it was a little bit over $500, but these are just a couple extra ideas and honorable mentions, basically, in the video. Now, like I said in the beginning, I chose all of these guns based on personal preference. Don't go thinking I'm going to do this based off of complete fact, because I haven't shot every pistol there is in the world. But out of the ones that I have shot and experienced, I listed them on this list. Now, again, this guy, the 1911 by Rock Island Armory, is great. Taurus Judge Public Defender is also under $500, as well as the Heritage Rough Rider 22 and the Walther P22. All these guns are going to be under $500. Now, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, go ahead and leave a like and comment what you want to see next, and subscribe while you're at it. And until next time, guys, stay strapped and stay safe.